So I recently had Kurt Angle on the show, and I think people forget he was in TNA for 10 years.
Right. Longer than WWE.
Way longer than WWE. Yeah. And I asked him, like, you were there for so long. What in your opinion were the prime TNA years? You were there for 7 years.
Yeah.
What's your answer for you?
Well, I think I came in at the peak.
So like
I came
08?
in 09. I came in I was signed in 08, but I didn't actually start until 09. I feel like 08, 09 was like the peak.
So that's like Hogan and Spike TV?
No, prior to Hogan. Right before Hogan, I think, is peak TNA. I felt like they misjudged. I felt like some of the decisions that were made, after with Eric and Hogan were,
So you're saying still under Russo, right?
If you want to put it like that, yeah, I guess. I think of it more as when there was that balance of Dixie, Jeff Jarrett, Vince, Cornette, Dutch Mantell. Mm-hmm. Like there was a melting pot of philosophies and ideas. Jeff being the sort of wrestling sort of talisman, right? Like the sort of that kept everything pointed in the direction of drawing money or trying to draw money and trying to sort of have payoffs and trying to sort of build to significant conclusions. I think Dutch is brilliant at that too. Dutch is such an underrated mind, like behind the scenes of wrestling. He was a fabulous agent, producer, whatever you want to call it. He was a great booker. And I listen to his podcast now because I just love listening to him break down like the business because he just knows it. Like that way of thinking cannot die out. It's absolutely imperative that people learn from people like Dutch, right? And whether people want to accept it or like it or not, from Cornette. And WWE has Michael Hayes. That's the same, right? Mm-hmm. Michael Hayes, I'll say this at the risk of coming across like a massive brown noser, right? But just in the short time that I've been sort of, privy to some of those discussions, Michael Hayes is such an important voice back there, like because he just cuts through the people trying to sort of tread carefully and, trying not to, and I'm not saying Michael goes out of his way to like hurt people's feelings. That's not what I mean. But Michael cuts through the chaff, right? And just says, hey, it's got to be like this, and you go, yep, yep, that's it. Right.
Okay.
And I'll say this too, again, at the risk of coming across like a massive suck up, but, Hunter is like, I don't know if people really fully understand just how like sharp he is as far as like a wrestling mind, like finishes and executing a certain piece of business. It's like people could be sort of kicking something around, and like even as the short time of that, like I've seen him just immediately go, oh, it's this, and this, and you suddenly go, oh yeah, like
yeah.
And I had this conversation with Regal, and I was sort of explaining that, and I said, like, I like to sort of give myself enough credit to think that like I might have thought of that in like 2 hours, like if I'd had enough time to really flesh it out and like go talk to a few people and like bounce it around a bit, but it's like he just like had like right there it is, and you go, oh man,